everyone, how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome to another 2024 movie review. This might possibly be the last one that you'll see me do before I do my best and worst movies of the year list. But regardless, this movie that I am reviewing is honestly a great way to end the year, if I'm being honest. And that is, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yep, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the movie that I'm going to be reviewing, and I will admit, out of all three movies, including the spin-off series Knuckles that I saw earlier this year, and I even did a review on it, out of all the stuff that's come out for Sonic, movie or TV show related, this, in my opinion, is actually the best one of the bunch, in my opinion. It really is. I mean, the way that they handled the Shadow storyline and the way that the fact that Jim Carrey came back, which is the first time he's ever done a third installment to anything he's ever done in his acting career. And it sounds like he could possibly come back for more installments if he really wants to, because he claims he needs the money or whatever. Heck, he's even thinking about doing sequels to things like The Mask and maybe another How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but this time with better makeup. And he may not even have to worry about the prosthetics like he did before. So that's going to be interesting. But with Sonic 3, not only did Jim Carrey come back in this film, but this isn't really a spoiler, but he did in fact come back as not just Ira Robotnik, but he also came back as his grandfather in the games, Gerald Robotnik. Now, I've never played the Sonic games before, but I just know of the universe, and I know about some of these characters, and when I heard that Gerald Robotnik was going to be in this movie as well, played by the same actor, I was like, okay, how are they going to explain him being alive? Because supposedly, from what I know from the games, Gerald Robotnik wasn't even alive during the time that Ira Robotnik was alive during Sonic's time. But it sounds to me like they decided to keep him alive, and then they finally kill him off, or whatever, during and then they basically find some way to kill him off in some way. I'm not going to say how they did it, because I didn't want to I guess that was a slight spoiler for the movie, but basically they explain why Gerald Robotnik is still alive after all this time, and in some way I think it's kind of interesting how they decided to pull that off, but the fact that Jim Carrey is also playing his grandfather was pretty iconic. And it's funny because it sounds like he played both characters, but he got paid the same amount of money for both roles, like combined. And it's like, he got paid the same amount of money that he would get used for paid for playing one character with Ira Robotnik, but he's playing two characters this time for the same amount of money. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And if you haven't seen the posters that have come out for the characters, it does already show the iconic outfit that Robotnik wears in the games or whatever, with the stripes and everything. So that really isn't a spoiler to find out that he really has evolved in each of the movies. Like he evolved, he had hair and not a big mustache in the first movie, but when he first went up against Sonic at the end of the film, he gets banished to the Mushroom Planet. He starts driving himself insane to the point where he shaves his head, he grew his mustache, or whatever, and then he gets somewhat of a red suit in the second movie. And then we see him finally get to be the size he's supposed to be with his big fat belly, in a way, and he actually ends up getting the iconic suit and being fat in some way. So that was pretty crazy. And like I said, the way they tell Sonic's story in this movie, and Tails, Knuckles, and even Shadow, I will admit Keanu Reeves as the voice of Shadow was pretty impressive. I think Keanu Reeves is like the only person who could have pulled off that role. And the way that they end this movie, this movie's kind of like the first movie, if I might say, because technically we did get two mid-credit scenes during the we did get two post-credit scenes during the first movie, the first one showed up right before the credits rolled, and then the second one was in the middle of the credits. But with this movie, there's one in the middle of the credits, and then there's the one at the very end of the credits. And both credit scenes, I will admit, without spoiling anything, seem like what they're gonna do in Sonic 4, which has already been confirmed right as the movie released, which I thought was iconic. But the way that they're gonna continue the franchise seems like if Jim Carrey does decide he wants to stay coming back for the Sonic movies, that's totally his choice, and I'm really looking forward to see how he portrays Robotnik again. But if he decides he still wants to retire and not do continue in the Sonic universe, then that's his choice. But will say this is probably the best Sonic movie of the bunch, and that's just my opinion. But anyways, let me give you my rating of the movie. So for my rating of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, like I said, in my opinion, even though I'm probably going to give it the same rating I gave some of the other movies, I still thought it was a really good film, and again, I think it's the best one of the three, and it really does seem like Jim Carrey did his best performance ever out of the films in this one, because he not only played Iroh again, but he played his grandfather. He played two characters in the same movie, which was crazy. But I'm going to give Sonic the Hedgehog 3 a 4 out of 5. Yep, 4 out of 5 is the rating I'm going to be giving this movie. And like I said, I think I gave the other two movies the same rating, but if I had to pick one, this is probably my favorite one. So anyways, that's all for now in this movie review, and like I said, the next time I post a video, it will probably be either my best or my worst movies of the year. So anyways, I will see all of you guys in the next video.